Good morning, guys. Sorry about that. Was the sound's working now. My apologies. Good morning, everybody. Welcome aboard to the morning note. Let's go back to the stop screen. Man, great way to start the morning, I say. Good morning, everybody. Carlos Garcia here, founder and CEO of Gar Capital. Sorry about the sound. I was actually muted. My bad. It is Friday. Bear with me. Dow futures are down 26 points. We were going around the horn. I'm talking about crude oil. I'm going to go back to it. So let's go ahead and jump real quick into crude oil. In terms of the markets, we did have PCE. We're going to go over that here in a second, but this is an opportunity I'm looking at in terms of energy stocks. So join me real quick on CVX. This is Chevron. Chevron's one of the two largest stocks in the XLE. So just bear with me. 155.19, that's where we're waiting for to break. If we can break maybe above 156, that's the 200-day, maybe gives us a little bit more room. Break above there, there is a gap to fill here at 166. So anything with here, we can go ahead and trade. So CVX needs to be on the watch list, guys. Why am I saying that? XLE, look at energy. Downward trend, break. Downward trend, break. Downward trend, we'll probably retest around 93.82. Start getting to the highs on energy stocks. Why do I say that? Take a look at crude oil. Crude oil is bouncing back very nicely from 70, nearly 10% off the lows, maybe a little higher than that. We're fighting the 200-day moving average here. If we can break above that, we need to jump into XLE and CVX and see what we can do. So again, just kind of prepping you for that. My apologies there, guys, on the sound. Is it all working now? Excellent. Yeah, sorry. All right, that was crude oil. Crude oil is down today, 0.72%. Gasoline is down as well, $2.28. Gold is up 0.31%. Silver is flat. 10-year Treasury yields are pulling back again, 4.128%. The dollar is down, 103.23. We're going to talk about that with the macro. 13.55 on the VIX, up 0.74%. In terms of Forex, anything that stands out to me instead of going each by each? No, not really, other than the euro dollar spiking a bit with the dollar being down. Dollar yen is flat. Bitcoin. Yeah, that I want to go over here in a second. I put a note out this morning on the watch list and charts. Check this out. And I talked about Amazon setting up for that breakout. We're going to go over that here in a second. And Bitcoin hitting some support. Remember that gap fill here on futures? I wrote this morning at 7:54 in the morning. So what did we do in terms of Bitcoin futures? See that gap? We did fill it. Kind of found the support here on 38,475. We're rejecting the 50. But I really want everyone to keep an eye of us breaking above 41,910, maybe 42,000. If we can get above there, then we can start taking a look at names like Mara. Yep, that Mara. We're at 1725 currently. Let's get above 1832 and ride that momentum. If not, BITO, which is the ETF for Bitcoin Pro shares, we could trade that too. Get me in a break above 2063. We can start taking a look at possibly the 21s or the 22s, again, with volume. And Coinbase was price upgraded today. So that's a little different than, see this gap up here. That's a little different in terms of Bitcoin proxy in that sense. So we need to keep an eye on these Bitcoin proxies moving forward as well. It looks like we hit some support. In terms of S&P, I want to go over rather quickly. We did have the PCE number. Price index rises 2.6% year over year, estimate of 2.6%. Again, met expectations. This is the lowest PCE number. Now, the PCE number is the personal consumptions expenditures. This includes rents. So kind of important because the Fed really looks at this more than CPI in terms of inflation data. So lowest since March 2021. That's a really good sign, as we know. Another headline came in. Traders see probability of a first rate cut in March at a little less than 50%. And I've been kind of repeating this, that I think that's, I think that's highly unlikely that we're going to get that. Again, we need to see a break in labor. We did have higher than expected unemployment claims yesterday. Maybe that's a little bit of a crack. Levi Strauss is laying off people. Microsoft bought Blizzard. They laid off some people. So we're starting to see, at least from the headline side, some layoffs. Is that going to cool the labor market? We'll have to see. We've been having layoffs all last year, and the labor market keeps ticking. So maybe that's a lag effect. We will see as we go along. March, again, I don't see it happening in terms of having a rate cut. Personal spending month over month, 0.7% versus 0.2%. So the economy is humming. The economy is humming, guys. That's why we're getting this move. And I fully expect us to break above today. And why do I say that? Really just good news all around. Nothing really to hold us back, and the dollar's down. So as long as that dollar stays down, I expect us to move a little bit higher on the S&P and end Friday on a strong note. That's really going to be dependent on one name, and that's going to be Tesla. Hate to say it. Tesla's a big part of the S&P, not as much as it used to be, obviously, after this tank job. But we need Tesla to hold above 180 if we want stocks to go higher. It has to move higher if we want NASDAQ to go up, which in turn with the S&P. S&P's flat, but Tesla is really holding back the NASDAQ. But you can see we are up pre-market. So get me above 191. We can start taking a look at Tesla for calls, maybe. But I'm not in a rush yet. I talked about it with Investment Club about the 180 level. Remember, that hit our target. Let's give it the 3-day rule. Let me go ahead and explain what the 3-day rule is. After any kind of major news or earnings, give it 3 days. Usually, that's when we kind of form a base or some kind of indication that we're either going to continue lower or we're going to bounce from there. So let's kind of keep that in the back of our heads. On Monday, we'll take a look at Tesla and see if we can buy the dip here. It is beaten down, oversold, we know, but it takes more than that. Amazon. Okay, so this one I talked about this morning as well. And this is a stock that we traded last week and we got chopped. So the action that we're getting today was action that we wanted last week. Again, a week early. So I do have the alert above 158.58. We're above it now. The target really is 163. That's your gap to fill from April. That's your recent highs. Amazon has more to go, guys. This is nowhere near all-time highs yet. So again, very similar to me as one stock in particular, Netflix. Netflix had that similar gap fill that took a while to break, and it finally got it, which was right here at 472. Once it did, it continued higher. Meta was very similar in that regard. So Amazon just it just chops us up and pisses us off, but it's going to go there. The question is the timing. That's the only damn problem. Next week, we have the Fed on Wednesday. Next week, we have non-farm payroll. And we have earnings. So Amazon's going to be tough sledding on that regard. I don't know if Amazon reports earnings next week. I believe they do. Let me confirm that. Amazon reports on the 1st. Yep, they report Thursday. So those premiums are going to be juiced. So we may have to skip that, damn it, with that earnings. Or we could play the run up. Just depends. We're going to see the open and see how it goes. Sorry about the sound again. Let's answer some questions. What a turnaround in futures. Yeah, I mean, nice bounce. Pre-market, you could see it. We were right here at 48.99. For the time being, futures traders, 4,900 needs to be your support. Give it about 10 points, 5 points from there, kind of that range. But that's going to be your support moving forward. I've been watching it pretty much consistently for the past 48 hours, and 4,900 has been holding relatively strongly ever since we broke it on Tuesday. So if we break below 4,900, okay, we can start having the conversations about, hey, shorting a market that might be a little overcooked. Fair. But we're just not there yet. And we're really, really testing all-time highs again. We're getting pretty close. So my expectation is that we get that blow off top. We finally break above, maybe get to around 49.40, 49.45. It may break even higher than that, obviously, but that's what I'm seeing. And really, it's because of the dollar. That's really the only reason there. The dollar is really going to be a help to that. And what the dollar is doing currently, guys, is it is rejecting the 200-day moving average. So we do have a gap to fill here down below. If we can fill that, that's blow off top. That means higher. That means call prices get more expensive. Just a reminder. Ryan is asking about JPM. JPM is at all-time highs. Not much more you can say on that end. 76.31 is the highs. More than likely, we're going to recheck that. The question is when. That's the billion-dollar question. Is the timing. Would I buy JPM here? I love JPM. It's the number one bank stock that I've been saying forever. the strongest management, you name it, biggest footprint, most deposits. Go with the best, JPM. The question is, does the stock move to 176.31? NFP next week with the Fed next week. Again, I don't expect anything to happen. Again, chatter from Powell, who knows? But JPM does look likely to get to where we wanted to go. It is breaking out above 173.63. But even if you did the 175s for today or next week, you really don't have a lot to play with there. And one drop might kill your premiums. So just be careful. Maybe tag that recent all-time high. It's going to hit. That's going to break. The question is time. I really am looking or expecting higher for financials. How come you didn't call the Tesla play in basic signals? Because that was a very, very risky trade. That was earnings. I try to do Intel calls as well. So for every great trade, there's also ones that don't work. Keep that in mind. With Tesla, I only had one contract and I held the runner on that basically. And I gave Masterclass more of the optionality there. And it was an expensive option, relatively speaking, about $3.90. So, it's kind of both ways. If I would have sent you guys Tesla and Intel, you guys would have been upset. That was a judgment call on my end. I did expect Tesla to fall. We've been saying that for a couple of days. I said it on the radio, said it here on YouTube. So, yeah, hindsight being 2020. Hell yeah, I wish I would have said go all in, but I have to be considerate of others and especially risk. I just want to say this for the camera. Guys, this is not easy. And we're trying to make it where you can follow and you're not freaking out because there's so many different personalities in the server. People have different expectations, different views on things. Again, it's all about expectations. If you're trying to just hit the lotto, roulette wheel sort of thing, this is probably not going to be for you. And that's fair. And there's some individuals out there that trade the way they want to trade. They use information how they want and go from there. But yeah, listen, hindsight being 2020, I would have said go all in on Tesla and everyone would have been happy. But unfortunately, I didn't. And I didn't want to put you in a bad spot, Roth Rentals, to be honest with you. My apologies there. Just being conservative on that and looking out for you guys. And at the end of the day, I have to let go. It's true that you guys can make your own decisions. I will give you guys the information, of course, as always. That's why I do the videos here. And then you take your information how you want. But when it comes to signals, I try to be as careful as possible. And that's really the only way to say it. I had four Tesla puts. They want to 1100. Yeah, there you go. Depends on which puts they were. Imagine the 180 puts, man, and that thing hit. So we hit the 200 puts. I got out for 200%. I don't know how high that thing went. Obviously, I wish I held, but I didn't. Intel, I did a lotto with Masterclass too. I told them to close ahead of time if they needed to. It was green, and that thing pulled back. Looking at Intel right now, does it have any chance of bouncing? Man, you need a big push today. Big push. Big push. So, if we get above 46 today, then Intel will show us some resiliency, possibly, maybe. But I wouldn't expect a miracle, no. So there you go. PCE done better than expected. Stock's kind of moving sideways. It's been a choppy, really first month of the year. If you really think about it, guys, it hasn't been a straight shot really other than one day, which was OPEX. And that was last Friday. That was a short squeeze. For the most part, it's just been just chop. Very, very difficult. I'm going to go over that on the weekly video. We're going to look at everything that we did this week. We're going to prepare for next week as well. So we got a lot to talk about. And yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. Let's take a look at PayPal. Yeah, remember that big thing that they were talking about? Oh, big things coming on PayPal. Never broke my alert, 66.19. Until my alert breaks, really, that's all I've been waiting for. Pretty much rejected it. So at this point in time on PayPal, you're just going to have to wait. Does that gap fill at 72? Remains to be seen. But it looks like the market wasn't exactly happy with PayPal's announcement or their big announcement, game-changing announcement or whatever. So Amazon, again, it is on my watch list. It is pulling back. The problem is the earnings next week. So we'll see what we get out of it. Keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on the Bitcoin proxies. Apple, I expect more upside as well. Unfortunately, Goldman Sachs and Palantir got nuked with that reversal. So difficult. We were green on both. We were green 30% on Palantir, 20% on Goldman. We should have taken it, but we didn't. and then AMD just being 5 hours a little too early. But again, I'm going to go over all of that on the weekly review. We're going to learn from it. We're going to get better for it. I want to see if we can end this week on a strong note, build that momentum. If you have AAL, American Airlines, we traded that yesterday. It is in the money. So again, I gave everyone the option. It got to 35%. Again, I was worried about the reversal. Damned if you do, damned if you don't, right, team? And now it's in the money. So it is for next week. I am holding AAL. So we'll see if we get to that 1614 level. Yeah, I just answered that, AAL. In terms of Tesla, it looks like, Juan, that we may have hit that 180 level of support. The question is, does it hold? But 180, I mean, pretty much to the T, we said 180 was the target, that downward channel. Take a look. So here's your zone, really between 163 and 180. Hell of a zone. But 180 was my main target in terms of Tesla, and it hit. I'm not going to rush out and do anything like buy calls or buy stock in it. We're just going to wait a couple of days and see how it goes. And AAL does have juice to 16. You could see it here, 1558, target of 1614 if we get around that zone. So another one I wish I would have told everyone to hold, because that would have been very nice. But you can only trade what you got, what's in your hand. You can only play the hand you're dealt at the end of the day. So we'll do the best we can and make it a great week. And we will see you guys for the recap video. So you guys don't miss it. Make sure to subscribe to our channel, turn on notifications, and we'll get that out to you guys. Have a great rest of your weekend. If I don't see you, talk to you then. Cheers.